Okay, we're gonna come back to the first page and we're gonna tell you how to fill this out. Okay, once we have finished the pile lock, or once we have accepted the pile, let's say in this particular case we accepted this pile as dead. We're gonna have to go back and I'm sorry, you will not have this one. These are readings will not. I was just filling that. Let's see, but let me just to explain this. Let me go back. So we got we're gonna have this empty. We have already at the beginning fill out the pre-drill elevation and the elevation of the TBM BM of the benchmark. Okay. Notice something. Based on reference elevations, based on the reference elevations I have input, the uh, the computer has determined that you have a tip. The current tip elevation is minus 52.17, right? And when I add this, the 100 feet, so it's going to compute that the top of the pile is plus 47.83. Okay, that's based on strictly speaking, and assuming that the template or the reference is not going to move at all. But the reality could be that the template may move a little bit, so we may have a little difference discrepancy at the end. But let's see. So let's say we do it. We're going to compute these elevations with the surveyor readings. Let me open here. Let me open the sketch I have to explain how the spreadsheet is doing this. Spreadsheet, remember, we're going to compute the height of the instrument or the elevation of the instrument based on the existing elevation, the known elevation that we know of the benchmark. Okay. Once we know that, we're going to compute elevations based from the rod readings. Let's say for the ground, we're going to put a rod here. I'm going to read how many feet are there. So we're going to subtract from this point, from this elevation to, we're going to subtract this reading to compute this elevation. And the top of the pile similar. All right. So let's go back here. So let's say we read 5 feet. The computer is going to suggest that it has to be 8. Okay. So let's input 8. Let's say we for the ground. All right. So for the ground. Let's say we measure, say, 6 feet. Okay, so the computer is going to compute maybe 2. All right. So let's come back. Let's say for the excavation, we have 9 feet excavation, so we have, say, -1. So let's, that was based on the surveyor method. Now, there may be some, there are recently with the new equipment, the contractors, they don't need to take this one, so they may give you a direct reading of this one, so that is fine. Okay, you will, in that particular case, you will put that not applicable, and then you will have that, you will have this elevation. Okay, well, let's come back and let us assume that we were using the old conventional survey method. And for the pile head, in this particular case, you notice that we got a lot of pile to go, so we should have, the pile head should be way above the reference. Okay. As a matter of fact, look at this. It suggests that I should be close to 48, and my reference was 11, so I got a lot of pile above my reference. So let us say I have 39.5. Okay, so I got a red thing here. The computer detects that I got the wrong sign, that in this particular case my pile should be high. So, but so you can go here, click the drop down and adjust, and the thing goes. So now the computer is in these gray letters here. It's telling me, okay, but when you compute this with the surveyor readings, you're gonna get a 47.5 elevation of the pile head. When you compute it based on the reference elevation you were coming, you're computing actually 4783. Like I said, a little bit of a difference is normal. I mean, you do expect that after driving, especially in many blows, and if your template is in sand, you do expect the template to move a little bit. So in this particular case, I will believe the surveyor, and then I will put 4750. And then the pile tip elevation will be computed accordingly. Like I said, I do have a little bit of difference. That's okay. I think it's normal. So I got 50 minus 52.50. So I will complete my pile log based on the final readings of the survey. Okay. Now that we have these pile tip elevations, we can proceed to compute these excavations, these penetrations. All right. For example, so if I have 20, that was my scour, then the spreadsheet is telling me, okay, I computed the view penetration below the scour is 32.5, below the bottom of the excavation is 51 plus 50, below your ground is 54.50. And if I had a field, this was an embankment, for example, and I have input, say for example minus 10 as the bottom of my excavation, it would have given me, oh, I'm below the natural ground is 42.5. But let's say this is not applicable anymore. So anyway, I would input the smaller ones, and then I can complete my pile penetration. Then one last thing I'm going to show you is, okay, look at these sketches here. When I go to the sketch page, you will notice that you have this summary of the pile tip elevations. Okay. If this pile has been battered, it still represent this. It will still represent this as a plumb pile, even though the quantities would be correct. So let's say this is a battered pile. Let's see something. A battered pile. You input, let's say this batter of 12 on 1. You will notice it will show like a little error because now this pile, the spreadsheet is trying to correct for the angle. And when you go here, you notice that instead, before it used to be like 5270, I remember minus 5270. Now it's a little bit because you got a slight batter. And of course, this difference is much bigger the bigger the batter. Let's say you got a 4 on 1, so it becomes, the difference becomes bigger. So just keep in mind that you got a batter, the calculations are going to be correct. So but let's come back to the plumb. All right, so everything is okay. So you will have this representation. Then you will have to enter something here. Just for a nice summary, click what option, how the pile was accepted. The pile met driving criteria. Well, I think, yeah, it did because it's part of the criteria, but more specifically, the pile reached practical refusal. That's what happens in this particular, okay? We did practical refusal. We did reach a practical refusal, so we put that in your sketch summary here. And then this spreadsheet is going to give you these nice summaries. That the pile tip elevation is below the bottom of the preform hole or the pre-drill hole, so you are meeting the specifications. That the current pile tip elevation is below the minimum tip, you are meeting specifications. Also, the minimum tip is input in the log, so we don't need to do this 10-20 feet penetration for some material does not apply. So, all right. That's pretty much all I have for this form. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to send us an email, contact your district office. If you got any questions, please contact us and we will be there to help you. Thank you very much.